We're going to make something called an info card. It's just a way to introduce yourself, to kind of acclimate yourself to our course and to each other, and to help me get to know you a little bit better. And so we're going to use a website to do this called Canva. Maybe some of you have heard of Canva. This is a third-party application that I would strongly suggest that you set up an account for. You can just use your UNC email account and come up with a password and create an account for Canva. This is a very useful tool that we're going to use for a lot of stuff in the class. It's a visual design tool, and it's free, and it's very easy to use, and I really like it. So I would highly suggest that you set up an account here when you can, and start to use this. So what is this info card thing that we're going to make today? Well, the idea is to create almost like a business card, a digital business card that you can kind of share with folks and give to them to let them get to know you a little bit. So as you can see, the way that Canva works is it's sort of a template-based design platform. So they have all of these templates that you can choose from. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze, I think. Thanks, sorry. And the one for today that I would suggest that you use is the one called the business card. So click on business card. And as you can see on the left, on this left column, you've got all the things that you could ever want to add to your visual design here, all these different elements. And then you've got some templates that sort of do some prefab designs for you. And you're welcome to use one of these to start with if you'd like, or you can just start with a blank workspace. One thing to keep in mind, you'll notice as I mouse over these items, some of them say free and some of them say pro in the lower right-hand corner. If you add an element that says pro, they're going to ask you to pay for it before you're allowed to download or use the image that you've created. So we're going to stick with ones that say free so that you don't have to dish out any money for this course. So make sure you're choosing ones that say free, or you can just start from scratch, which is what I'm going to do here to just show you how this works. So there's a couple of elements I want to add to this, and you can create yours the way that you like, but when I'm creating sort of an intro to myself, information about who I am online, there's a couple of important elements that I always try to incorporate. One is going to be a picture of myself and my name, of course, and then contact information that I feel comfortable sharing, so maybe my email or maybe my social media handles, and then possibly I like to add maybe like a QR code that can lead folks to more of my work if they want to go check it out. So those are sort of the three main things that I would encourage you to add today: a picture and your name, contact information, and then maybe like a QR code to, I don't know, maybe your website or some work that you've done or something that you would like to share about yourself. So let's see, how do we do all of that? So the first thing I'm going to do is choose a background. They actually have a tab over here for background images, and they have tons of great looking free background images that you can work with here. You can choose whatever you like. I usually try to keep my backgrounds kind of minimalistic, so I'm going to just choose something that is maybe just like a solid color or like a faded color, or yeah, that's okay. I kind of like I do not like that at all. It's way too zoomed in for some reason. Maybe that one's probably too pink. So you have to kind of pick and choose. I usually like to keep this pretty simple though. That one, you'll notice that one says Canva, so that one's not free. So you want to be careful about choosing ones that are not going to be free. Kind of like the city, if I'm being honest. I kind of like that view a lot. So I'm going to choose this. And one thing I like to do for me when I'm designing background images is I always like to edit the blurriness. So you can do all sorts of cool image editing with Canva. If you click on your image, any picture that you've uploaded or any object, and you click on edit image, there is a whole slew of settings you can play with. And the one I'm going to mess with here is called blur. So I'm just going to blur this just a little tiny bit to like a 5. So you can still kind of recognize it's a city, but it's not like, it's going to fade into the background, I think, more clearly. The next thing I want to do is a picture, and we're going to put that picture of myself in a frame. So if we click on elements, elements are all the different kinds of objects that you can add to your design here, and there's tons of these. So if we search for frame, we're going to get all kinds of different picture frames that we can use, and I'm just going to use the circle frame. Kind of a profile picture idea here, and I'm just going to put that up in the left-hand corner, and then I'm going to upload a picture of myself. you notice there's a photos section that you can choose. You can select from free photos that Canva provides. There's also a section where you can click on that says uploads. And this is where you can upload pictures from your computer. So I'm just going to go find a picture of myself that I want to share here. I don't know. This one is me from Halloween. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Drive, but that's me dressed up as the guy from Drive. I'm going to put that, I'm just going to drag that picture into that frame, and you'll see that it kind of automatically puts it into that little circle. All right, so that's good. So far, so good. We got a picture, and now we're going to do a name, my name. So I'm going to click on text this time, and they have a lot of options about neat little like text styles you can choose from. Again, some of these are free and some of these are paid. I'm going to choose one that I just think looks decent, that I want to use. You know, maybe something that an aesthetic design here that sort of speaks to your, tastes. But also make sure it's something that people can read, and think about your audience as you're creating this. You know, what do people, what is going to be readable? Notice the background's kind of bright, so I probably want to go a little dark with my text. So maybe I'll just skip those and just do a basic heading, and I'll just put this up here, and this is going to be my name, Justin R. Carey. And again, you can decide where you want this. You can drag and drop everything. You can make it bigger. I think bigger is good for something like this, so I'm going to do like that. You also get some neat editing tools with text. So if you click on your text and you choose effects, you can do a shadow, which is nice. You can do a lift effect, this little glitchy effect. You can add like neon. You can change the color. You can curve it if you want to do like, you can make it go around the picture maybe, but that can be hard to read, so just be careful on that. I typically like to do kind of a shadow effect just to give it a little depth and offset it just a bit. Maybe change the shadow color to kind of match maybe the picture there, kind of like that green. You can change the offset amount of the shadow, and you can change the direction a little bit of where the shadow goes, and then the transparency. So if you want to make it a little bit darker, kind of like it a little darker. Yeah, so looking good. Justin R. Carey is looking good so far. Okay, and then I'm very active on Twitter, so I'm going to go to Elements, and I'm going to type in Twitter, and grab this little Twitter icon. So I'll put that maybe, I don't know where to put that. Maybe I want to keep everything up in the sky, maybe sort of idea. So I'll maybe put that kind of under my name, like that maybe. I don't know, or maybe under my picture might be a better place. I'm also active on Instagram. Try to make these about the same size if I possibly can. And I'm also active on Medium. Kind of my top three, I guess. I don't really use Facebook as a choice, but that's just me. You can certainly do that. And the nice thing about the way I've done my social media is I use the same username across them all, so I can just add another piece of text, maybe this time a subheading, and at Justin R. Carey. And I'll put that under, and change the color of this to white because the background is now getting a little darker as we go down, and I'll just make that a little bit bigger. And I might also do an effect on that just to give it, again, a little bit more depth with a little bit less transparency to make it a little darker. Happy little transparencies. And I don't know if I like that. What if I change the color? It's okay. That may need some work. One thing, if you're having trouble with the background, is we can go back to the background image, and we can make the background image darker. And I think that also helps to bring up the text. If the text is getting hard to read, we can make the background a bit darker. So you can do that too. And I also sometimes like to do a little vignette on the background. So yeah. All right, that's looking pretty good. And last thing, so we've got my name, got my contact. Oh, and also might want to put my email. One quick pro tip is if you hold Alt or Option on your keyboard and you drag something, it will automatically copy it. So I really don't like this black and white two-tone here. I think I need to change that to something else. And actually, I might put my email address up here because that's kind of like the primary contact point. And then this I'm going to change to I might just get the shadow off. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, last thing is like maybe a QR code. So, if someone were to pull this up on the website and they wanted to scan it with their phone, they could get to some of your work. So I'm going to head over to my Medium account. So this is my Medium page. I post some of my writing here. So I'm gonna click on I'm gonna copy the link here, and then I'm gonna Google make a QR code. You can choose any QR code maker that you want. There's lots of good ones. Here's one that's just fine. I'm gonna paste the URL into this box here, and it's gonna automatically create a QR code for my whatever I put into that box. And a QR code is a quick response code that you can scan with a phone camera, and it will bring you directly to whatever content you put into this box. So that's what I want. And then I'm gonna either download that picture or just take a little screenshot of it with my snipping tool. Command-Shift-4 on a Mac, if you're using a Mac. Snip. All right. And then I can go back to my info card here that I'm working on, and I can upload this QR code as a picture. You're welcome to put that in a frame if you'd like to. You don't have to, but I'm just going to kind of put that down there. And then I might just also add a little caption to say something like, scan this for more of my work. And we'll change that text color to white as well. And we will write justify that because it's on the right side of the composition. And then there's still some space here where you can add other things that you might want to add. So when you're done creating this, simply click the download button. Download it as a PNG file because we're going to be adding it to our Google site. So download that there, PNG. It's going to download to your computer.